Hey guys, it's Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking about my Duke City Marathon experience. So if you've been following me, my journey, I have been training for about 4 months, almost 5 months for my first half marathon, and I completed it this past weekend, and it was amazing. I am so freaking proud of myself. Like, I never thought in a million years that I'd be running races. I didn't. I am a plus size girl. I have 2 kids. I had a C-section, both C-sections. Um, my body was pretty banged up from the birthing experience, and then just all of it. Like, I just didn't think that was me. I'm a 30-year-old woman. I have never done anything like this before. So I starting this year, I didn't think that this was going to be something I was going to do. So to have trained so hard and then to get there and all of the hurdles to get there, I'll tell you guys about that in a little bit. And then to be on the other side of it and to have accomplished it and to feel so strong afterwards, I'm just really proud of myself. And if you're in the process of training, if you're going to be doing the Duke City, it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for you. Keep pushing, keep hammering, make it happen. You are going to have such a great experience. Okay, so the process leading up to my marathon, really quickly, a couple of days before, I'm going to say like 48 hours before we were supposed to leave to the half marathon, to Albuquerque is where it's at. My youngest, she had been sick for since the Sunday before. So she'd been sick Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She'd been sick for 4 days. So we went to the doctor. She had broken out in a rash. That was the part that really scared me because she had fever and we were able to cut the fever, and she seemed fine, but then she broke out in a rash and I was like, oh my gosh, she's sick. If we can't go, that'll suck, but the baby comes first. Her health is most important. So we went to the doctor and we got the okay. She said that whatever she had, the rash was kind of like the last part of it, and she was over it. She had no more fever. She was fine. So I was really happy because I was kind of bummed. Like, if I wasn't able to go, I'm training so hard for this. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? No, we're going to have a good attitude about this. If we don't go, it's because we weren't meant to go. It's going to be okay, and I'll just stage my own half marathon because, girl, I have worked so hard for this. I'm not going to let anything stop me from running my 13.1, okay? So I talked to friends, my family, and I was like, listen, if we can't go, we are going to stage one for me. Y'all are going to hand me water. We're going to make a finish line. Like, I don't care what we have to do. I am running this. But luckily, everything was fine and we were able to go. So we get there and it is such a great experience. Like, the Duke City Marathon has been going on for so long. They have it down to a science. You're able to pick up your packet Friday, Saturday, Friday and Saturday. I think another day, maybe Thursday also, for my marathon that just passed. And they have like a booth set up at Big Five, and then the weekend before, so Saturday before, the day before Saturday, sorry, I'm trying to remember, they actually had a health fair, which was really, really cool. It was so much fun. I walked through, I picked up my packet, very, very easy, very organized. I was at the convention center downtown Albuquerque, and there was a lot of other things going on in the convention center, but I was able to quickly find where I was supposed to be. The volunteers were so kind. Everybody was just so nice. It was a really good experience because I was very, very nervous. So I get there and I pick up my packet and I walk around and I found some really, really great people that were selling their goods. Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Mama's doing a video.
I want more gotcha candy.
Okay. I'll get you some right now. Can you go finish watching your show and I'll get you some more?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. I love you. All right. Aw, thank you, sugar.
You're welcome.
So we pick up the packet. So the health fair, there was lots of different vendors. There was all of the sponsors. I met this really awesome guy who makes his own CBD oil and products. I'll link his website at the bottom. I swear by CBD oil, guys. It has changed my life for the better in such an amazing way. It is hemp oil. It is not marijuana. There's no THC in it. It is hemp oil. And I do 5 drops under my tongue every single day. And after my babies, I had postpartum depression. The CBD oil has immensely helped my postpartum depression. I don't feel depressed any longer. I started taking it for inflammation because it's so good for your body. It's so good for inflammation, your joints, pain, anxiety. It is amazing. So I started taking it for inflammation, and then I noticed a major difference in my mental health and my mood. So I found him, and I'm so excited. I'm going to start taking his CBD oil. Yeah, I'll link his information in the bottom. If you guys have any questions about CBD, definitely put it in the comments, because I'm not an expert, but I can tell you my experience with it, and it is something that I will take forever. It is just, it's in my mind, it's like a vitamin now. I take a multivitamin and I take my CBD. It is just, it is what it is. Anyways, so it was a lot of fun, very organized. They give you a little map that shows you the whole route, and that was very, very cool. So we drove the route to see what it was going to be so I could be prepared. And the day of, we got there, and there's so many people, guys, so many people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, spectators, people running. And the cool thing, I was nervous because I am not an athletic looking person. I didn't know I was athletic until I started training for this. So I was expecting everybody there to be just these elite athletes, and I was just going to stand out, and I was going to be the last one to finish. And I was nervous about that. I was really nervous that it was going to be embarrassing almost, but it wasn't anything like that. So you can walk or run a 5K, walk or run a 10K. Sorry, let's say 6K because it's 6 miles. Walk or run a 10K. You can do a half marathon or the full marathon. So there's all kinds of different people there. There is all different shapes, sizes, ages. There was little kids running with their parents. There was elderly people. There were people with disabilities. There was a man in a wheelchair doing I was so inspired by this guy. A man in a wheelchair doing the half marathon. He was going faster than I was. He was amazing. He had all this energy. It was so exciting to see him, and I just felt so blessed to be there. I felt so excited. I knew that I was doing what I should have been doing. It was just amazing. I saw elderly people, a man that I don't know if he has arthritis or some kind of something, but his body was kind of his hands, and he was a little hunched, I'll say, older gentleman running the half marathon with me, and he was faster than me, and it was just amazing. I was oh my God, I felt so welcome. I felt so excited. The city of Albuquerque is amazing. We always travel with our animals, and it's very pet friendly. There's different AirBNBs that allow pets. There's a lot of hotels that allow pets. It was a really, really, really good experience. Anyways, so we get there. It's time to go. The first heat is the marathon runners. They went at 7. Then 7:15 was my heat. And your bib that you get with your number has a little chip that tracks your time. So even if the gun goes off and you go, but you're not able to go past the finish line because there's so many people. It took me, I think, a minute to get, because I was at the back, because I did not want to be in the rush of everybody trying to go fast, because I'm slower. So let everybody go and then I'll go. And so I was kind of in the middle, and it took me about 60 seconds to actually pass the start line. So they time you based on when you pass the start line. There's another timer at halfway, and then there's another timer at the end. So you can kind of see your pace, and it actually times what you're doing. So that's really, really cool. So I got there, and there was so many people, and I was okay, get to my start line. the guy on the microphone was saying like, okay guys, it's time to start, and there's so many people running around kind of getting warmed up, getting ready. It was very, very cold, and so I had a long sleeve shirt on, and I put my bib on, I get my podcast going. I bought really great headphones. I had my little arm thing with my phone. I was ready. So they say go. It takes about 60 seconds for me to actually get to the start line and pass it. And we go through downtown. It's so pretty. It's so nice. They have all of the streets blocked off, so you're very, very safe. There are tons of police officers. There's security people. There were so many people along the way. I felt very safe. It was fantastic. Every mile had a water station where they had water and they had Gatorade. I didn't know if they were going to have Gatorade because I heard some of them don't have it, but they do. I only had Gatorade once because I prefer water, and I wanted to have Gatorade just to kind of like re-up my electrolytes. They did have Porta-Potties. This was something I was nervous about because if you guys have been following me, you know when I run, my stomach goes crazy. So I didn't know, and I don't think anything said where the Porta-Potties were. And I could be wrong because while running, you kind of get runner's brain. But I think there were like 4 or 5 stations for the bathroom on my half marathon. Yeah, my half course. So I'm sure the full marathon had more. But the half course had 4 or 5 stations. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. So that's enough, right? But you don't know where they are. So I ended up having to stop at the second one because the first one had a line. And I was like, no, I'm not going to wait. I don't want to stop my time. You know, I wanted to have good time on this thing. So the second set of Porta-Potties was perfect. And I'm so happy I stopped at those because there was not any more for another like 4 miles. And I really had to go. I had so much water in the morning. And I tried to make sure I went right before we left the hotel, but by the time I got there, I had to go again. So I only had to use the bathroom once, so that was really, really awesome. But yeah, make sure that if you're preparing for a race, make sure you get everything out as much as possible because there are going to be lines at the Porta-Potties. You don't know necessarily where they are, and you don't want to have an accident because that's the worst. Runner's trots, like, oh my God. I've had a video about that. If you haven't seen it, go check that video out. That's a whole nother topic. Anyways, so it was gorgeous. It's fall time, so we went through downtown, and then there's this route. It seems like it's next to a river, but I didn't see water, but it's just really gorgeous. There's this trail. It was mainly for the people racing, but there were also locals on their bikes. There's people walking with their dogs, but they were very courteous, and they would get out of the way when we were around. They also, at the marathon, they had a really cool little music station set up. So the first set was right next to the second Porta-Potties, and it was local Native Americans with their drums, and they were singing amazing music. I felt energized, I felt empowered, I felt excited. Like, it was so beautiful. This whole process was very emotional for me as well. So when I got to the starting line, I got a little teary-eyed and nervous. I think that's probably why I was a little teary-eyed, because I was nervous. And I got teary-eyed again listening to that music. Like, it was powerful. I don't know how to explain it. I recorded some of it. When I got out of the Porta-Potty, I recorded some of it because it was so beautiful. I wanted to have that with me. And I have that on my Instagram account if you guys want to check it out. It's under my half marathon stories. And it was awesome. And then later on, I don't know at what mile, there was like rock and roll music, which was really cool. Like, there's guys with like a little drum set. There was a bass guitarist, an electric guitarist, someone singing. It was really cool. Like, I wasn't expecting all of that. At every water station, I think they were like the local ROTC kids. They were dressed in military garb, and it was cool. It was really cool. They were cheering you on. There was random spectators with signs cheering you on. It was amazing. It was so amazing. So with this marathon and half marathon, you run half of the distance, and then you turn around and run back. So at half point, there's a lady, and you're wearing your bibs, and each bib is a different color to indicate what race you're running. So they knew that I was a half marathon. So the lady was like, okay, come around here, and that's kind of like the checkpoint for the timer. And come around here, and then turn around, and you go back. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I did that. It was very organized. On my way back, I still had tons of energy, and then I hit 9 miles, and my hands started to swell. My ring didn't really, like, by 10 miles, it didn't even fit on my fingers anymore. Like, I had to put it on my pinky, and, like, I don't know, can you see, like, how much, oh, let me put it back here. Can you see how much is, like, extra on this? Like, it was fat. Like, it was terrible. My toes started to hurt. I was texting my husband along the way, just, like, not real sentences, but, like, at 9 miles, at, you know, whatever. And the 9 mile message was like, at 9 miles, my toes are falling off. And he's messaged me back, like, a really nice little, I was telling myself a little thing, like, the whole week, like, you're prepared, you can do this, you're amazing. And so that's when he texted me back, and that made my heart so happy. I was like, yes, girl. Put my phone back in my arm and kept running. And I saw people struggling. So I had water. Every water break, I did grab a water station, but I didn't drink that much. So, like, one water station, I'd have, like, a gulp, and then I'd toss it. The second water station, I would drink the whole thing. I didn't want to be waterlogged, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough water in me so that I didn't bonk. Because I've bonked before because of being dehydrated, and that hurts. That hurts for a while. Like, it's not a good feeling. So, and I did have Gatorade once. I think it was, like, at 9 miles. Yeah, and I had energy gummies. I like Stinger's energy gummies, but I also like just plain old raisins. I like plain old raisins better. And anyway, so at 9 miles, my toes felt like they were going to fall off, but I still had tons of energy. I kept going. And next thing I knew, it was over. Oh, also podcasts. I listened to a podcast. I am in love with Joe Rogan's podcast, and I absolutely adore Cameron Hanes. And so I listened to one of the podcasts with them that I hadn't listened to before. And it was a 3-hour podcast, and I had a feeling that my race was going to be about 3 hours. It ended up being 3 hours and 26 minutes. And so that's what I listened to the whole way. I was just, like, really just thinking about that and just keep going, mind over miles, keep hammering, you can do it. Anyway, so getting towards the end of my race, my podcast was over. I just took off my earbuds and just enjoyed the scenery. I was hurting by that point, like, majorly. But I kept going, and at the last mile, I text my husband, coming up on the last mile, and we're back in downtown. And I look up, there's, like, a woman kind of saying something, and I look up, and I see Jacob, my husband. Jacob! Silly goose. I'm almost done, okay? Okay. So I see my husband on the side of the road. There's, like, really no spectators at that point, and I lost it. Like, I started crying. I was like, babe, like, he came over to me where I'm still running. He held my hand. We ran together for, like, 20 steps. He just told me sweet things, kept telling me I could do it, and it was awesome. He was like, you're almost done, babe. Turn this corner, and it's your finish line. Like, you're almost there. And I was like, okay. So he ran ahead of me to let my family know that I was coming, and I turned the corner, and there's all these people, like, lining the street, and there's the silly goose. Hey, baby, not right now, okay? Not right now. So there's people with, like, the cowbells, there's people screaming. I'm kind of going slow at this point because I'm really, really exhausted. My body's really, really tired. And this lady yells at me. She's like, this is your finish line. Get it. Go faster. And I'm like, okay. So I try to go faster. I honestly don't know if I was. I probably wasn't. But in my mind, I was. And I'm, like, running. And then I hear, Vanessa. And I turn to the left. And I see my sisters. I see Jessica and Krista. And I start crying. And then I hear my dad yelling for me, and I start crying even more, and I'm like, and I'm sure I haven't looked at my finish line photo yet. I don't know if they're prepared, if they're ready yet, but I'm sure my finish line photo is, like, because I was crying. It was, like, amazing, very emotional. I felt so proud of myself, like, I did it. And I crossed the finish line, went to go find my family. My sisters, like, like fall into my arms, and we're like ugly crying, and just like it was so beautiful. It was so awesome. The Duke City people have tons of water, tons of apples, tons of oranges at the finish line so that you can re-up your energy. I always do bad with that. After a run, I'm not hungry. But 30 minutes after a long run, after a long run, I'm really not hungry. But 30 minutes after, if I haven't eaten anything, I will crash. Like, I'll feel nauseous. I will be peekaboo. I'll be really tired for like an hour. I'll feel sick. I'll feel ill. So I made myself eat an apple. I'm not a banana person. I ate an apple. Is that your little horsey? What's it called? Unicorn?
Yeah.
So I ate an apple.
Put this
and
put this on. This way.
Hold on, baby. Oh, this? Your head this? Sorry. She's supposed to be watching her show right now. I let her watch like 30 minutes of TV, and then I try to do my videos, and she's over it, I guess. So anyways, let me finish, okay? Hold on, almost.
Look at myself.
Here, yeah, you can look at yourself. Sit on my lap. So I grab an apple. You also, right at the end of the finish line, you get your medal. And then they have kind of like a party at the end where all of the sponsors and the different people that have booths, they're so silly. You can go up and talk to them and make sure that you keep moving, make sure that you stretch. It's important because your body has just gone through so much, so you need to stretch it out. You need to keep moving. Do not stop moving. We went out to eat afterwards. We went to Porta-Potties. My dad loves Porta-Potties, and we do not have one in El Paso, so he was like, let's go. And then I had to drive all the way back home because it was Sunday and Jake had work on Monday, so we had to drive all the way back home immediately after. So it was a 4-hour it was a 4-hour drive of not moving, and that was terrible. Do not do that. If you can, the best thing to do is keep moving throughout the day. Do not like cramp up, like, because you'll cramp up. Do not like stop moving. Don't do that. We got home and I couldn't even walk. Like, I got out of the car and I was like, oh, like Jake had to help me get to the house. So don't do that. We had to, but if you don't have to, don't. Make sure you keep moving. Make sure you're stretching. So today is Wednesday, so it's been 3 days since my half, and I feel all the way better. The day after on Monday, I was very sore. I was afraid that the second day was going to be worse. It wasn't, because I was stretching a lot. I was drinking a lot of water, just making sure that I'm recovering good. I did have to put on my compression socks after the race and on Monday as well. And I traveled with my compression socks on because I did start to swell. My ankles were swelling on Monday. But Tuesday was fine. Today, all the way better. My ankles are all the way better. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience. If you're training, keep going. You are going to be so proud of yourself. You can do it. Mind over miles. Just tell yourself you're going to do it and don't stop until you're done. Do not stop until you are done, okay? You've got this. If I can do it, you can do it, okay? So thanks for listening. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I decided yesterday I'm going to be training for a triathlon next year. It's going to be in April, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. I have a friend that did it last year, and she's like, let's do it. And I'm like, girl, let's do it. So I'm good at biking, but I've never done racing with biking, and I can swim, but I've never done like racing with swimming. Baby, that's too hard. Be gentle.
Okay.
So it'll be a challenge. I'm really excited though. I'm ready for it. And it's only 3 miles. It's only a 5K to run. So I've got that in the bag. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for following. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.